And I feel like this is something a lot of couples that are on social media don't really talk about. Kids. Do you have sex more or less now that you're married? Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a special guest for our video. This is Patrick, my husband. A lot of you guys know him who have watched my channel for a long time, but if you don't, this is Patrick. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do a little Q&A video. We did one of these when we were like 4 months married, I think. We have been married now for a year and 8 months, right? 9, 10, 11, 12? Yeah. So we are coming up on 2 years married, and we've lived together for over 2 years now because we bought our house before we got married. So I thought it would be a great time to just do an updated Q&A. So I asked you guys to submit questions on Instagram. So I'm just gonna be reading through some of them today and we can answer some juicy questions. So if you guys like seeing lifestyle stuff like this, like Q&A videos or any videos with Patrick, then definitely give this one a thumbs up. And while you're down there, be sure you are subscribed if you're not already. But yeah, I guess let's just go ahead and get started.
I am ready.
So ready. I have my little energy drink here. The first question that we get asked by far the most out of any question, and I feel like this is the case with a lot of couples, is when are you having kids? Do you want to have kids? How many kids do you want? Kids. Me and Patrick have definitely answered this question before. We definitely do want kids. It's something that we always have wanted. We've known that ever since we got married. We've always known that we wanted kids, whether that was in a couple years or 10 years. So when Modern Fertility reached out to me, honestly, I thought that was a perfect fit because, like I said, it is something that we've always talked about. Huge shout out to Modern Fertility for sponsoring today's video. They basically make an at-home fertility test that allows you to test a bunch of your hormones and your thyroid and your fertility health at home for a very great price compared to actually going into a doctor's office that might cost you like $1,500 that a lot of times isn't covered under your insurance. You can get the Modern Fertility test for $159 and you can actually get $20 off of it today if you use the link in the description box below. I filmed everything, so I'm gonna insert some clips here in a second. I think it's so cool that we live in a society today that allows you to do different tests like this at home. Highly recommend it. Super easy and such a cool concept, whether you are in a relationship now or if you're totally single but you know that kids is something that you do want one day, then it would be nice to just kind of check and see where you're at in your fertility journey. Like I said, that link will be in the description box below and you can get $20 off if you use that link. And yeah, I will roll the clips right now of me taking the at-home blood test and getting my results back.
Check it out.
Okay guys, so I am about to take the Modern Fertility hormone test. Obviously, I'm going to bring you guys along with me for this experience. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous because I don't like blood. I'm okay getting my blood drawn if I'm not looking at it, but obviously I have to look at it because I have to get my blood, but we're gonna get through it. So first I'm gonna show you guys what is in this little box. It comes with this little cute pouch. I don't even know why, but I thought it was cute. It comes with a mailer to mail your blood samples back, of course. It comes with a few cards just telling you what to do. So this one has some like FAQs on it. This one has like my test number on it. So I went ahead and went on to the website modernfertility.com/register. It took me through a few questions, like if I was on birth control, and that'll just help them get a more accurate reading on my test. Then it also comes with this little baggie that has all of the stuff I need to take my samples. And then I'm gonna go get my laptop because it has, like, once you register your test and everything, it has a video showing you how to do everything. I'm doing it first thing in the morning so I don't skew any of the results. I haven't eaten anything for over 8 hours and I've been drinking only water. Let's get started. All right, so first I'm going to just open the bag and lay everything out. All right, and then the first thing I'm gonna do is write my name on the blood sample cards. I think that I only have to do one, but I feel like I'm gonna do two just in case. It says if you are on hormonal birth control, you can test any day and you only need to fill up one card. All right, now it says I'm supposed to wash my hands, so I'm gonna do that. And it says rub them together to increase blood flow. So it says to open both of the gauze, and then it says to open the bandages, I guess just so you're prepared. Okay, so I'm gonna move the angle a little bit so you guys can see, and warning, you are about to see blood. All right, so here we go. I'm going to open an alcohol prep pad and clean my finger. I'm gonna do my ring finger. Take one of these, twist that off. You have to make sure the BD part is upright. Prick your finger. Wipe away the first little drop of blood with the gauze, and then without touching your finger to the card, you wait for it to drop. I don't think this one is gonna drip anymore, so I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna try my middle finger this time. So yeah, here's my result. This one I was shaking and it accidentally went over here. Mine is past the line, but I need to email them and make sure this is okay since there is a lot of blood outside of the line or outside of the box. I feel like I should do the second card just in case, but I had to use up all 3 of the things just to get this. So for right now, I'm just gonna go sit down and make sure and email someone and ask if this is okay. All right, it is a little bit later in the day and I thought I would update you guys really quick. The last time I talked to you, it was early this morning and I had told you guys that I was going to wait and see if my blood sample card was valid, and I sent a picture of it to the Modern Fertility support team and they responded in less than an hour. Super helpful, really kind. They said that they thought that would be plenty, that they could probably get a great sample from that, but if not, they said they would let me know and resend me another kit for free. So that was really nice. So what I've done is I've placed it in my blood sample return bag and I've made sure this is like sealed really good. I didn't end up doing my second card because it said I didn't have to since I am on hormonal birth control, and I'm just going to drop it in my bag, and that is it, you guys. My mail has already ran today, so I will have to put it in the mail tomorrow. It was fairly simple, you guys. I am not gonna lie, it's just for me, the taking the blood was super frustrating. It didn't hurt at all. I ended up pricking 3 of my fingers, you guys, and it didn't hurt at all. It wasn't about hurting, but when I see blood like leaving my body and all of that, I don't know what it is. I get sick and dizzy. So anyways, I'm happy to be done with it. I'm gonna send this off tomorrow, and it only takes like 10 days to get results, and I'll check back in with you guys when we have some results. So I got an email yesterday saying that my Modern Fertility results were ready for me to view on my account. We are going to view them right now, and I'm gonna screen record so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And Patrick's here just because he wants to see my results, of course, as well. Basically, they email you something saying that your results are ready and you have to log into your account to view them. And then they also let you know that they do host like a private webinar with a fertility specialist named Jill. So if you do have any questions about what something means or whatever, then you can ask your questions, and it's totally anonymous and all of that as well. So here's what I see. You guys are gonna see what I see. So here's what I see when I open everything. It just says good afternoon. Hormone levels are normal in AMH and TSH. There's like a little question or like information button about how they got your results, which is cool because like I know nothing about this. Like neither of us have any experience like in the medical field at all. Oh, okay. And I was gonna say, I don't know what either of these hormones are. So you can actually hover over top of them and it lets you know what they are. So AMH is a hormone produced by the follicles in your ovaries that surround each egg. That is normal for me. And then TSH is a hormone produced in the brain that signals to the thyroid to produce other hormones like FT4. So your fertility summary, this is very long. Ovarian reserve is a fancy way of saying the eggs in your ovaries were born with a set number and they leave our body at different rates. Ovarian reserve is important because it can help you understand menopause, timing, and egg freezing and IVF outcomes. Ooh, this is kind of interesting. Your AMH indicates that you may have an average number of eggs for your age, so that's good. That's kind of like the main thing you're looking for if you're wanting to have a family, you know, especially in the near future. And it also tells me that I may reach menopause around the average age of 51. So I'm very average, but but that's kind of interesting to know because I never knew anything about menopause. So you can actually click on this, and if you want to read about that, you can. If you want to get more information about literally anything, menopause, ovarian reserve, egg freezing, and IVF, you could do that. I'm pretty much just very average, like right here in the middle.
Average is good.
Your general wellness hormone TSH indicates a follow-up with your doctor is recommended before trying to conceive. TSH levels above 2.5 may be monitored or treated before pregnancy. That's about my thyroid, but then down here it says your TSH is normal. Oh, that's weird, but it's still telling me that my TSH levels are above 2.5 and doctors may recommend treatment because my TSH level is 3.27. So you can go to Thyroid Health and figure that out. And honestly, this is probably something I'll talk to my doctor about. They say too. So why the heck not? But also wanted to mention that you can download your levels for your doctor. So if you want to download your levels from this test, and it'll just like print them out on like a paper that you can really easily take right into your doctor, that gives them the stats in a way that they can understand.
Oh, it even says the name of them.
I think this is super cool though. One of the reasons why I like this is I am generally like a more private person. Going to the doctor is awkward, it's uncomfortable to talk about like certain things or whatever. So this is kind of a way to do that privately in your own house. You can take the blood test in your own house. If there is something that you need to process, you're able to process that alone or with your significant other, and then kind of take those next steps to go to the doctor, figure it out, have a game plan, whether you have to figure some tough decisions out or if you're like, yay, it's normal and I didn't have to do that at the doctor's office, you know? So either way, and even if it is normal, it's still giving me a lot of information like about my thyroid, about ovulation. You know, if you do want to start a family, when's the best time to do that? How to calculate your ovulation. Like they're right here laid out for you and you don't have to like have an awkward conversation with your doctor about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing us go through this process of me taking the test, you know, us discussing why the test was important for me to take and seeing my results. Like I said, if you guys are interested in trying this test out for yourself, if it is something that you are concerned with personally, or you and your significant other, whatever it might be, then you can get $20 off if you use the link in the description box. So hopefully that helps you guys out. And yeah, let's get back to the video. All right, so let's dive into some other questions. First question, have you guys ever been close to calling it quits? I guess she means within marriage.
Marriage, no.
Yeah.
Not even close.
We've been together for 10 years. Almost 2 of those years have been married. And marriage, no, I don't think either of us have ever been close to calling it quits. I think for us, I mean, you can speak for yourself, but for me, like marriage hopefully is like a one-time thing. I mean, no matter how hard things get, I don't think I've ever been to a point where I'm like, I don't know if this is worth it. So any hard times that we've come to, we've always just known that we're gonna work through it and get past it.
Yeah, I mean, you make the commitment to get married and you continuously have to learn about each other. You continuously have to work on things, even if it is yourself, not necessarily just the marriage in general, but we continuously work. And I think that's really important to both of us.
All right, what are 3 rules that you live by in your relationship? Good question, but I don't have like an answer off the top of my head.
The TikTok, the R word, respect.
Most important thing, that R word, respect.
I guess we've never really like broken it down into like 3 principles, but I mean, both of us definitely see trust as number 1. Even trusting each other with what you say, what you're gonna do.
Always knowing your partner isn't out to get you. So if they say if Patrick says something to me and I like immediately get defensive, I kind of have to like stop myself and be like, he's not out to get me. He's probably just saying this because his feelings are hurt, or he's trying to help me or challenge me or whatever it might be. So I would say that's one of our rules for sure, is that we try not to be defensive with each other and always try to see the other person's point of view and know that they're on your team. Like you're a team, you're a duo, like they're not out to get you. Like that is the one person on this earth that should like have your back.
I would say like the last one would definitely be really just truthfully respecting each other, whether that be when you're around other people or even in some of your biggest fights. You truly have to continue to respect each other and know that even when you're mad and even when things things are not going great, that you still treat the other person with respect and get that back as well.
This one's kind of interesting and kind of like lighter question. Planning my wedding, and I'm curious, what is one thing that you regret from your wedding? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't regret anything from our wedding. Like, it was an amazing day. I loved it. But I know that's not what you guys want to hear. Like, obviously, there are little things that you're just kind of like, I mean, if I had to do anything different, this is what I would do. So do you have any stuff like that?
We both had really big wedding parties, and I guess for me, before the wedding, I mean, the bride and groom have to do so much stuff, so you're constantly running around. Like, I definitely wish I could have had a little bit more downtime with my guys in the suite just to hang out and even like share a glass of whiskey or something, but I didn't really have that.
For me, we did like a DIY photo booth. Like, I had a little tripod for the backdrop. My mom had ordered the backdrop that said Kayla and Patrick. Maybe I'll insert a couple photos of us and our friends here so you guys can see what it looked like, what the photos looked like. I had like the iPad stand and all of that. So it was like DIY instead of paying $500-$600 to $1,000 for a photo booth company at my wedding. Well, the only thing about a DIY setup is that sometimes things get messed up. Like, I think the background fell once, or people would do something to the iPad and it would stop working. So sometimes I felt like I was focused on that too much. I feel like your wedding goes by so fast that like you just wish you had more time. Like, that is just one thing I'm like, I just wish we had more time. And so you try to like find things that you were doing that might have wasted time. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. What is your favorite memory of each other?
I guess overall would be like when I finally saw you walk down the aisle. That would be like, that's like a favorite memory. But I guess a smaller one.
Yeah, from like even when we were dating or anything.
Oh man, I don't know. Favorite memories for me, I like always loved when you would like show up to games.
Patrick played baseball in high school and in college.
All through, and then I played baseball in college. But whenever she'd be at my games, I mean, that was always a big deal to me. And after the games, you know, she'd always give me like a big hug and a kiss, even though I was like covered in dirt. So I don't know, it's super small, but like those were some of my favorite memories. You're gonna probably have like a really good one.
One of my favorite more recent memories is when we did our 1-year anniversary trip to Charlotte and we stayed in a treehouse. That is like literally one of my favorite trips that we've ever done. It was just us two. We didn't have plans every single day. I mean, we had like dinner reservations and little things that we wanted to do, but we just like chilled and took beautiful photos. Like, I love the photos that we took, and we vlogged it actually. So the vlog is still up if you guys want to check it out, just if you're curious.
There was like no
it was
TV.
So cool. It was so cool. I don't know. I guess in high school, like when we were dating, I think of like you used to do really elaborate, cute things. My mom always tells the story of, because I guess this just impressed the mom. Patrick had my mom on his side when he did this in high school on Valentine's Day, I think. He left a rose with each of my teachers to all of my classes that I went to that day. When I got to each class, my teacher handed me a rose and like a little note from Patrick. So he used to do a lot of stuff like that. And like he would get me these big giant cards, and
straight balled out in high school.
he asked me to prom like 3 years. So 1 year you weren't even in school, but you still asked me to prom.
Still asked her.
But because I was in school. But anyways, and you would ask me in cute ways and stuff. What are some things you two do to keep it fun? I don't know really what this means.
This could go very different ways.
I think just in the relationship to like not get bored of each other, I guess.
You know, we enjoy our time apart. We'll have certain days where like I'll either like go downstairs and do my thing and she'll be up here and she'll do her thing. But then we started incorporating date nights. Once a week we would like make that whole day and night about, you know, really spending time, quality time with each other. We even did, I would like plan one and then the next week she would plan it. So that was interesting.
That's what I was gonna say. Do surprise date nights where like he has to plan it once and then the next week I'll plan it and surprise him. I mean, it doesn't have to be elaborate every time. Just, you know, I completely pick the restaurant, or like even if you're just doing dinner or something like that. Or like in quarantine, I think we got kind of creative. Like we would do games together. We played Life or just stuff like that. Just little kid things. Like,
or even just Taco Bell and movies. And just like hanging out together.
The biggest issue you've oh my God, why can't I say this question? The biggest issue you two have had to overcome as a married couple. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. To be honest, I feel like for us, it would just be fighting, arguing. And I feel like this is something a lot of couples that are on social media don't really talk about. And it kind of bugs me, to be honest. Like I always tell Patrick, I'm like, why not just be honest about it? I mean, of course, every couple's like, we argue, of course, we bicker, but like we don't fight, or I don't know. I just feel like everyone tries to sugarcoat it. What's the point? Because then the people watching you are like, feel bad about their relationship if they do fight or whatever. Just because you've had like some some big fights and maybe not loved how you acted in one moment doesn't mean that defines your relationship. You can always make your relationship better and work on things if both of you are completely willing to, and we have definitely done that. I wouldn't even say the first year of marriage, but for us, like the first year of living together, I'm not even gonna lie, we did fight a lot. Yelling fights that we weren't proud of. And I'm telling you guys that not to like put our relationship on blast, but to just be like, sometimes that happens. And you know, there were a couple times when we're like, we don't want to do that. Like, we don't want to do that anymore. And honestly, we have worked on our marriage. We didn't go in person to like any marriage counseling or anything. We've never done that. Not that we're against it or anything. I guess we just have never really looked into it, but we do have like a couple workbooks and stuff. It gets you talking without like one person having to bring it up. Like if you have like a little workbook, I'll link the one that we use down below because I think it's super helpful because it's just like a neutral space to force you to have certain conversations. So yeah, I just want to mention that because you can always work on your relationship. You can always better yourself. You can always better your relationship.
We're both very bullheaded, so I mean, that was a lot of the reasons for our fights. We're very stubborn.
I know everyone says this, but like you're still gonna argue. It's and I always say this, and some people might disagree with me, but I always say when you get married or if you're in a long-term relationship, you've got to learn how to fight. Whatever you want to call it, fighting, arguing, disagreeing, whatever you want to call it, that's normal. It's just finding a way to do that in a healthy way. I don't know, whenever anyone's like trying to get married and they're like, we've never fought ever, and I'm like, well then now you might want to reconsider getting married, because like if you haven't experienced every single emotion with a person, I think that's important to do because people act differently when they're under high emotions. But yeah, so learn how to fight in a healthy way.
And it's okay to fight.
Yep, it's okay to argue. Just respect each other while you're doing it and you'll get through it. What's your favorite quality in each other? My favorite quality in you is your patience, because I am the least patient person on earth.
One of the qualities that I mean, you have a lot of great ones, but you're extremely funny, and that's just something that like I always was pulled towards. I love humor, and she's hilarious and goofy, and that's what I like. It's like nice being weird with you.
How do you guys balance your time between work, YouTube, and time together?
We have our own hobbies, but we always make time for like just us.
I will say we eat dinner together every night, and usually there is a show on in the background, but even during the show we usually talk and whatever. So to me that's a really important thing. If you're not eating dinner with your significant other every night, highly encourage just making that a routine. I think that is just a great first step. Even if you have to go your separate ways and get work done afterwards, like we do a lot of the times, we still make that a thing. We always eat dinner together, and then most days of the week I will have to work on YouTube stuff, edit, or sometimes I'll just watch my shows, he'll watch his shows. I mean, we both like our alone time. If you have to literally schedule in your time together, do it. There's not a wrong way to have quality time together. So if you need to say, hey, on this day, we are going to spend the whole day together, put our phones away, whether that just be hanging out at the house for alone time, or if it's going out and getting out away from the house. Either way, schedule that in, make it a priority. On the weekends, honestly, we're together like 24/7 on the weekends because we usually have family stuff or just stuff we're doing, unless one of us is away on a trip or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can always like pick up a hobby together.
This is kind of an interesting question. Did your wedding bring you closer to the people in your bridal party? I would say yes, for me. Like for me, my cousin and I, we just didn't really hang out a lot beforehand. I mean, we loved each other, of course. She's one of my closest people in my life, but during the wedding, like leading up to it, we got super close because we had all these wedding events and we got to like reminisce on like our childhood. It was really cool. And so I would say for me, yes.
For a lot of my guys, when playing baseball in college, and even some of my guys that I played baseball growing up with, it was just nice to have everybody back in one group. It was nice to really have like 3 occasions where I had everybody, like all my best friends there.
That's the coolest part about a wedding, is that everyone that you love from all walks of life like comes together for one event, and it's like so cool. I think weddings are a great time to let the people in your life know how much you love them. So I wrote all of my bridesmaids a really long sentimental letter, and I gave it to them on the wedding day. I have pictures of them all crying, reading it, making everybody cry once they had their makeup done, but just stuff like that, I think it definitely has potential too. Another question kind of related to fighting, I feel like this is a question I get a lot. Is being married hard / do y'all fight, or do you you find that you fight more now? And so I wanted to just touch on this. Like I said, we've touched on this kind of a lot, but the first year of living together, I feel like we fought more, but now, like the past year, like I think since like January probably, I would say we fought the least we ever have in our relationship ever.
Yeah.
Just reiterating, it takes time. It takes learning each other, learning how you argue, learning how to communicate, all of that. Juicy question. We have a couple of these. How often, which I don't know if we're gonna answer this, how often are you intimate? Do you have sex more or less now that you're married? Maybe we'll answer just the last one. T. I don't know, maybe it's not very obvious, but we definitely are intimate more now that we're married than before we were married. So
yeah,
I think that's all we'll really say.
Well, yeah, I think talking about sex is super normal, and honestly, the more we've talked about sex, I think the better our sex has gotten. I mean, truthfully.
Did not know
that was a little
there.
that was your juicy answer, but no, I mean, truthfully, I think the more you know about the person you're with, better it's gonna get. So
yeah,
that's juicy.
Best piece of advice for someone currently in a long-term relationship. I would say strive every single day to learn something about them. That would be my best piece of advice, honestly. That's a like unique and not like something cliche.
Especially when you're in long-term relationships, a lot of people can make that like that is them, like their relationship is them.
Yeah.
I think it's super important to
That's
make
a
sure
good
that
one.
you continue to work on you.
That's a good one.
Always.
Be individuals that are whole on your own and come together and make each other better, but they don't need to make you complete, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you get in a bigger fight and don't see eye to eye, how do you deal with it?
We're getting like a lot of fight questions.
But that's what I'm saying, because no one talks about it. Everyone's like, what the heck?
Well, you're never gonna always get your way.
Well, yeah, I would say we take a breather. We usually come back to it and talk about it in more detail. And in that moment, a big thing for me, which I've told Patrick, now this is like a thing in our relationship, is I always feel like every person in an argument can say at least one thing that they could have done differently, whether that's something you said, the way you said it, your tone, an attitude, like whatever it is. I feel like each person in an argument can say, I'm sorry, I should have not said that to you, or whatever. Both people need to take accountability for something in the argument and really try to put themselves in the other person's shoes, like to see their perspective. Those are the main things, is we each take accountability and see the other person's perspective.
I mean, it's specifically towards, if you really can't find middle ground, unfortunately, you're gonna have to find some way to just be like, well, either I can't change their opinion, or their opinion's not gonna change. As long as it's not the big things that compromise who you are.
Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Sometimes you just gotta let it go and realize that you love that person even when you're fighting. Do you still like your ring set? Yes, I still like my ring set.
Yeah, mine's pretty good.
You're talking to me. Yeah, maybe I'll insert like a little close up if you guys haven't seen my ring, but yeah, I still like it. I actually, maybe 6 months ago or maybe a year ago, I got it soldered together, the engagement ring and the wedding band, and I love that. I mean, we're not opposed to upgrading the ring set way down the line, if that's what you're asking, because I know a lot of people do that, so I think people are curious, but not anytime soon for sure. Most and least used wedding registry item 2 years later. That's a really good question. Our least used registry item is like that mortar thing that's really heavy. It has like the bowl. You can use it to like make guacamole or smash spices and stuff.
3 times.
We have used it, but I would say that's definitely our least used.
Yeah,
just like random stuff like that.
If you want good guacamole, you get
Okay,
one of those.
Patrick. Our most used, probably our air fryer, Instant Pot.
Pots and pans.
Yeah, we got a Calphalon set for our registry, any stuff like that.
Archie.
Yeah, Archie is definitely our most used registry gift.
We had a golden retriever fund, so,
Yeah.
and he's at the door barking, so.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Speaking of Archie, this question I thought was interesting. Marriage with dogs. Me and my fiance disagree sometimes on things when it comes to dogs. I guess she's just asking like advice on this. Has this happened to you guys? Whatever. Yes, it definitely has.
We see dogs very differently.
So, as most of you know, Patrick had Buck before me. He got him in college, and honestly, we've talked about this multiple times, so don't worry. This is not like, I'm not like putting Patrick on blast like for the first time ever on camera. Obviously, all of Buck's needs were met. He was fed, he got water, he was taken out. Not saying anything like that, but he took care of dogs way differently than I would. It was definitely an adjustment, but he knows that about me. He's seen my mom with her dogs. I'm very similar in that way that they are part of my family. I am very attentive to my dogs. That kind of annoys him sometimes because sometimes I'm like, if I'm out of town, I'm like, have you taken them out? You need to take them out. You need to let them out. Blah, 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 blah. And so yeah, we definitely disagree on the dogs sometimes. Sometimes Patrick early on when we first lived together would be like, they're just dogs. And that like really got on my nerves when he would say that. So we had to have a discussion. Like we finally had to come to Jesus meeting, and I was like, I get that you don't see it that way, but I do. This is how I phrased it, exactly what I said to him. I said, it is important to me, and because it is important to me, I'm asking you to make it important to you. And this is mostly just talking about like when I'm out of town. You know what I'm saying? So make it more about like, I'm asking you to do this for me, not just for the dogs. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're disagreeing about the dogs, it's totally normal. But I mean, now me and Patrick are really good with our dogs. We both kind of agree on, I mean, he just knows how I am. Like our dogs now are on a schedule. They just live a good life.
They live a great life.
They live a great life. Do you have anything else to say about that?
She won that battle. Now I treat the dogs like she treats the dogs.
And our dogs are better for it.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, I think it's just, once again, a compromise. I mean, it's hard to give advice when I don't know exactly what the disagreement is, but yes, definitely we've been there, and I think you just have to be honest about the way that you feel and what you really want and need from your partner, and also sometimes having to take a step back and be like, is this crazy? Because definitely I've been there before where I'm like, I'll start to freak out, and then I'm like, all right, like relax, it's gonna be okay. Where do you guys see yourself in 10 years? I mean, how old will I be?
35. I'm gonna be
I would say
40s.
by 35, I would say we're done having kids. We've had all the kids that we want to have in a different house, a much bigger house.
I should be a little league coach by that point.
Wow.
Really coaching the kids up.
Just a whole family, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last question, and kind of maybe a repeat question, but I feel like it's a little bit different. What was the biggest adjustment you each had to make once you got married? Just something super practical is you now have two families that are your families. So making time for each family, especially if you live in the same area, I think that was a big adjustment, is that we just have to rework our time a little bit. So like for instance, every holiday we go two places. We go to my family's house, Patrick's family's house. And of course we want to do that because we want to see both families, but it's definitely an adjustment just to your schedule. It's a little bit more stressful, of course. Whereas like when we were dating,
you weren't obligated to be at those places where once you're married and you are like,
that was a decision we made. Once we're married, we're a bargain deal, so it's both of us going each place. When we were dating, we would definitely be at each other's family's house for the big holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving, but not necessarily for the small holidays like Mother's Day or Easter or Father's Day. So for me, that would just be like an adjustment that we definitely had to make for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Anything else?
No, I mean, I think that's like one of the bigger ones.
All right, well, my camera battery is about to die, so we are gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video with Patrick. Thank you very much for being on the channel. Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Had a blast.
Had a blast.
All right, and after this, we actually have to go to a wedding. So we're gonna have a great night. If you guys like this video and wanna see more of Patrick on my channel, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And once again, shout out to Modern Fertility for sponsoring today's video. And just a reminder, you can get $20 off of your at-home fertility test using the link in the description box below. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye!